Hi guys, my name's Steven, and today we're going to talk about ROS messages. So the first thing we'll talk about is what is a ROS message and what does it look like. We'll then talk about what ROS messages are available with your standard ROS installation, and then we'll talk about how you can use ROS messages within your project. So what is a ROS message? Well, a ROS message is a format in which your variables are put into so that it becomes compatible with a topic. So messages are basically the containers that hold the variables you are trying to transmit. So the question arises, what variable types can I use within my message? Essentially, the idea is that you've got your standard, basically C++ variable types you would expect, and we've got their corresponding primitive types that you can use in this message format. So what messages are available with your default ROS installation? So there's kind of two places I'm going to show you to look. So the first thing you want to do is go to your ROS standard messages wiki, and you want to look through all these different standard message types. These are just message types that have already been developed, so you can communicate a primitive type over a topic. You can't just take a piece of data from your C++ code and put it into a topic. It's first always got to go into a message. Even if it's just a simple data type like a Boolean or an integer, it still needs to go within a message. So there's messages already designed for some of your most simple C++ data types. So for example, there's bool. So if I click on that, we'll see that there is a type, a data type of bool, and then a message name of data. And so this message name could be anything at all. It could be X, it could be position. In this case, they've called it data because that's generic. So essentially, this is just a message type for transmitting booleans, which is actually very useful. I use that one a lot. So that's all you can expect from standard messages. So this is only for if you want to transmit essentially a single variable. So now let's look at common messages. So common messages are another group of messages that come with your standard ROS installation. In this case, these are a little more complicated than just your simple primitive types. These are messages that have been created to basically communicate a concept. For example, you might have the concept of acceleration, you might have the concept of a pose, but the idea is that you have a group of data that you would like to send over a topic, but you'd like to keep it as a group. So instead of having 3 topics to transmit what a point is, you can just have one topic that contains all the data to define that point. So let's go ahead and click on what a point message might look like. So this point message contains 3 float 64s, and they are called X, Y, Z. So X, Y, Z are the members of this message, and the message is called point. So if I look at another one, let's go to pose. So pose contains 2 data types, but these data types are actually messages. So you can contain a message in another message. So in this case, I've got a point and a quaternion. So this is helpful for defining the position of maybe like a 6th degree of freedom device, such as a robot arm. And so essentially, you can group and keep in sync the position and orientation of the robot by using this single message and sending it over a topic as a single message. Let's take a look at how we can use messages within our node. So here I've got a very basic node. All I've got is a ros.h header. I've got a main function here that's been defined as a node, and then I have a singular boolean called button state. And so let's say in my case, I would like button state to be transmitted over a topic. Well, button state as it is only a C++ primitive type boolean, which is not compatible with the topic. Topics cannot work directly with the C++ primitive types. I first must put my data within a message. So we need to decide which message to use for this data type. In this case, since it's a singular data type, I know to look within standard messages. And as we saw before, there's a message type specifically for booleans. So if we look at the structure of that message, I see the message definition, and this will guide me on how to use it. So the first thing I need to do is I need to be able to include this message into my code. So by default, you don't have access to any of these messages unless you include them. So you've got to include whatever message you want to use, and the format, there's a consistent formatting here, and you always include the package name / the message name. So let's say I wanted to include one of those floats like we saw earlier. I would just change the message name to float32 because that is exactly as it showed up here, float32. So if I wanted to use the empty, I would put empty, exactly as it shows up here. So I've got my package name and then my message name. Okay, so if I want to populate data into this message, all I got to know is the data structure. So I see that I've got one piece of data of type Boolean, and the member name is data. So I need to declare a new instance of this message. And to do that, I'm just going to basically copy my header here and change to / to double colon, because all I need is my package name and my message type, which I already had. And now I can create the new instance of this message. So I'm just going to call it play button, for example. And so now play button is a message, and I know it's got one member called data. So if I want to put anything into this message, I of course got to put the values I would want to into the data. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type play button dot data, and then this can equal whatever Boolean I'd want. I could type false or true, but in my case I'd like it to be equal to the variable called button state, and this takes whatever Boolean, C++ Boolean, and stores it as the member of play button. And data it just so happens to be the member name of the Boolean here, but it could have been basically whatever name showed up in that spot. It just happens to be data. So this should compile. So it's always a good idea to compile right after working with a new message, and that just kind of helps you make sure you're using the message correctly before you get too far. So let's look at one more example. Let's say I want to use something out of my common messages. The thing to note here is that common messages isn't a package, it's a stack. So don't worry about that too much, but basically a stack just has packages in it. And so we know our guidelines. We need the package name and we need the message type. So we don't care anything about the stack. All right, so these are the positions. Maybe they're coming from a sensor, maybe they're coming from some calculations, but I've got these three values and I need them sent over a topic to another node. So since these three values correspond to a similar concept, I know they should probably be packaged together inside a singular message. And since it's something pretty common, I'm trying to basically communicate the position of a robot, I get the idea that there probably should be a message that already exists for this application. So I'm looking through my common messages. Geometry messages normally deal with position and speeds and things like that. So looking inside geometry messages. So honestly, we know that point, we already kind of had looked at point. Point contains three values of type float64. In this instance, perhaps float64 contains more accuracy than we need. Maybe our sensors don't have much accuracy at all. Doesn't really make much sense to use a float64 if you don't have to. It just requires more bandwidth. Maybe I'll use the point32. So what I need to do is I need to again include, since I've decided I'm using point32, I need to include the package name, which is geometry messages / the message name, which is point32. Once I've included that, I need to create an instance of this message. So I'm just going to go down here, and I'm going to, again, I'm just, you can really see there's a pattern here. I'm using the file or the package name and then the message name as the message, and that's my type. And then the instance of this type, I'm just going to call current position. And then current position, I know has a structure, and this basically cheat sheet here shows me the structure of this message. I know that it's got three members. The first one being X, so I'm going to type current position.x equals something. It could equal 0. And I see that there's 3 members, so I'm just going to copy this 3 times. And the member names are X, Y, Z. They could be anything, but those are just the names that have been chosen here. And then, as I was saying, I was going to be trying to transmit these values, so I'm basically just going to copy those here. And then, as usual, I will quickly compile just to make sure everything worked. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.